This video is about LINO bullshit. What a LINO is a libertarian in name only. I see this a lot on the Libertarian Reddit group, on the Libertarian forum called the Libertarian Forum. I've seen this at Libertarian Party meetings. I've heard this in discussions with Libertarians. They're saying, oh, so-and-so is not a libertarian. He shouldn't call himself a libertarian. We have to stop the circular firing squad. Period. We just gotta stop it. If someone calls themselves a libertarian, that's good enough for me. It's an opportunity to maybe educate them closer to what you might think is what a true libertarian is. But we shouldn't be chasing away potential allies. That's just stupid. I mean, here's, like, for example, on the Reddit group for libertarians, I've read posts that says Alex Jones should stop calling himself a libertarian. They've called Paul Joseph Watson, he's not a libertarian. Stefan Molyneux, not a libertarian. I've also seen Paul Joseph Watson call Gary Johnson not a libertarian. In fact, here's a video where he does exactly that. I've gotten into a debate with a libertarian YouTuber who's an anarcho-capitalist. I don't consider them libertarians. Me, myself, I don't consider them libertarians. Only if they're an incremental anarcho-capitalists would I consider them kind of libertarians. For those who don't know, an anarcho-capitalist is an anarchist who's also a capitalist. When you listen to them, and I've dealt with them, oh my gosh, I've dealt with them at Libertarian Party meetings. They'll come on in and some will even try to take over the local Libertarian Party. They're anarchists. They like calling themselves anarcho-libertarians, anarcho-capitalists, but their end goal is anarchy, no government. I don't have a problem with those. I'm just going to call them what they are, anarchist capitalists, being part of the Libertarian Party, if they're incrementalists. In other words, they believe not in revolution, but in incremental change towards their ideal. Because then they have to go through a libertarian phase, very limited government before they can get to their anarchy. But if you listen to a revolutionary anarchist capitalist, they want to throw out government completely. It's kind of a absolute no understanding of what libertarianism from my perspective, okay? Because in my definition of libertarianism, we still need government. We need courts, we need police, we need a prison system. Very reduced from what it is, but a core principle of libertarianism is the concept of private property. Well, how can you have private property without police and courts enforcing property rights? It just is not possible. Sorry if the wind is picking up and there's howling, the wind is going all directions. I actually walked all the way down to the end of the path and then realized the wind is changing directions all the time. I'm just going to soldier through it. I hope you can as well. But I don't have even a problem with revolutionary anarchist capitalists calling themselves libertarians. I don't think what they're proposing will ever happen. But I know that for them to try to get there, they'll have to go through libertarianism, limited government. I mean, I have heard libertarians say that Rand Paul, the son of Ron Paul, is not a libertarian because he didn't vote perfectly on a libertarian score on the bills that he voted on. My God, again, a litmus test. But I mean, I personally, you could say, I mean, you could get a gathering of libertarians and ask him, is Ron Paul, the father Rand Paul, Ron Paul, a libertarian? And the vast, vast majority of them will say, oh yes, he is. Oh, he's the, you know, the embodiment of libertarianism. But Ron Paul is against abortion. He would want to restrict that. So is Rand Paul. And to me, that's very unlibertarian. You're telling women what they can and cannot do with their bodies. Now with Ron Paul, I can totally understand why he's that way. He was a doctor, and I believe an OBGYN, in other words, a baby doctor, okay? He delivered babies. And I'm sure it disgusts him to see abortions, the babies destroyed, that he very likely he thought he could save or bring to birth, you know, cesarean section. I'm sure that he has helped many premature babies survive into childhood, if not adulthood. So I can totally understand why Ron Paul is against abortion. But does that make him not a libertarian? No. We need to stop this LINO bullshit. That's libertarians in name only. Oh, he's not a libertarian. He's not a libertarian. Only I am a true libertarian. That's bullshit. We have to stop that. We have to, when our libertarians do that bullshit, we gotta stop them from doing that bullshit. We gotta call them on it. It's just bullshit. It creates a circular firing squad when we should be trying to strengthen our alliances. Instead, we shoot each other because we're not pure enough. They're not pure enough. The swipe against Stephen Molyneux and Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones is, oh, they're alt-right. What? Alt-right? Oh my gosh. Whoever says that, you've just listened to someone that listens way too much to the Democrats. I mean, there is no litmus test for being a libertarian, except for I would make this the litmus test. You cannot call yourself a libertarian if you do not want to reduce government in some fashion and or restrict government from taking away someone's liberties. That's it. That's a really broad category. There are very likely Republicans and Democrats that would fit into that category, and we should be reaching out for them. We call them, the press likes calling them libertarian leaning. Fine, that's great. Again, there shouldn't be a litmus test. We should be welcoming them into our ranks. Maybe looking at it as maybe eventually they'll see your idea of what would be a better libertarian position. But to start off out of the gate saying, oh, he's only a LINO. He's a libertarian name only. He shouldn't call himself a libertarian. That's just so wrong. You're an asshole. There's no way around it. You're an asshole. Anyone that says that is an asshole. Okay? Again, I don't think anarchist capitalists, revolutionary style, are libertarians. But if they want to call themselves a libertarian, sure, because I know they have to get through libertarianism, get through reducing government to get there. Incremental anarchist capitalists, I do consider them libertarian because they're talking about incremental change, reducing government here, reducing government here, getting the government hands off on these liberties, etc., towards their goal, which is anarchy, which is not libertarianism, is no government. Libertarianism has a role from government, very limited, but it does have a role from government. But because they're incrementalists, they have to go through the libertarian phase to get to their end goal. I honestly don't have much against anarchists. I think they're idealists. It would be great if it could happen. I just am not, I don't believe it can. I believe we have to have police, the courts, to adjudicate property rights, to get criminals arrested. I believe that we need a national defense against our countries. I'm not a pacifist. But it's like when someone says, oh, he's an alt-right. Well, what is an alt-right? A lot of times it means, well, they're not for open borders and open immigration. He's an alt-right. He's against immigrants. He's against, Muslims or whatever you have. But if he's for reducing our forms of government, he is a libertarian. In my view, okay? And that's something that we should embrace and not try to shoot at. We gotta stop this. We cannot, in politics, you have to build a coalition. Like it or not, you have to build a coalition. And how you build a coalition is not by restricting who can join, but trying to expand as much as possible who can join. There's a difference there. We got to be receptive to people who want to reduce government in some fashion, or just restrict government in taking away or hampering or limiting liberties in some way. I think it's the only way we'll be able to start having libertarian-leaning Democrats is by taking this approach. We already have libertarian Republicans, and I know within the Republican Party, they absolutely hate libertarian Republicans. When I lived in Wisconsin, I dealt with one of the Republican Party members and talking about maybe running a libertarian Republican candidate for a certain congressional district, and just the venom that came from that person was just unreal. Anyone that says someone is a LINO, libertarian in name only, has to be called on the carpet, has to be told, I think just shut up. If they want to call themselves libertarian, let them call themselves libertarian. Let's work from that point, and that maybe you can convince them to become more of a libertarian that you think they should be. But that doesn't mean that they are not a libertarian. It's a lot of libertarians need to grow up. And part about being a grown-up is being receptive to other people's views. And it's kind of ironic that there are libertarians calling other libertarians LINOs, because we're supposedly a party of liberties. And to just take that attitude is just wrong. Now this is the beginning of a series that I promised some libertarian candidates that I've contacted before the election. I'm going to start doing a series now for libertarian candidates. Tomorrow I start a 3-part series that just talks about libertarian candidates, outside versus inside. If you're a subscriber to this channel, please post this video to your Facebook group, tweet it on out, email it to libertarians you know. Let's try to correct this problem that we have within our ranks. If this is the first time you've seen a video of mine, please subscribe. In the last 20 seconds of this video, there will be an end screen, and my picture will be in a little circle. Click on that and you can subscribe. I sometimes put out more than one video a day. I sometimes put out videos as news happens. If you'd like to receive notification when a video has been released, when subscribing to this channel, below this video on the YouTube page is a subscribe button. To the left of that is a bell icon. Click on that for text or email notification. Also, I have a mailing list. When that mailing list gets to 100 subscribers, I'm going to start producing a weekly unlisted video where I reply to selected comments posted into last week's batch of public videos. A link to the mailing list sign-up form is in the description below. Please subscribe. Okay, see you tomorrow for pretty much the beginning of a new series for libertarian candidates and how they can be better libertarian candidates. I'm a marketer. I'm going to come at this issue from a marketer standpoint, not a pure standpoint I want us to get elected. And I think we need to take a more realistic, market-oriented approach to do just that. So, bye for today. See you tomorrow.